trying to see if I'm recording. Yeah, I appreciate you guys for coming over today. I came to yours, Reg. I went to Renee's for a minute. I see that you guys got the PowerPoints, the slides, and everything like that. I may have come a little underprepared today for this message, man. But I can use a built-in excuse if I wanted to, and that would be a couple of weeks, 3 weeks ago tomorrow, my mother had a stroke. And so I've been dealing with that. So sometimes, a lot of things is not, you want to do things, but it's certain things that's not a priority to what you're doing. But I'm not going to use that as a crutch, Stacey. You know why? Because I don't think, even if that had happened, I don't think I would have had a PowerPoint anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
actually, I'm treating this as I would my podcast.
there
You
you
know,
go. Right. We don't
and
need no PowerPoint. We just want you.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't come with PowerPoints. I'm coming with a story. So I'm glad that you all came. And so let's get to it a little bit. When I when I first saw this message, it said built for purpose, small actions that keep you aligned with what truly matters. I had to sit with that for a minute because built for purpose, not built for attention, not built for applause, not built for just to survive, but built for a purpose. And I know a lot of us, all of us may use AI to some extent, to some point. I mean, I know I do. I use it quite a bit. Matter of fact, AI has become my best friend. You know what I'm saying? If you want AI, if you want somebody to stroke your ego, just tell AI what you want. AI tell you that you doing the greatest things since sliced bread, that your brand is the best, is this and that. But being in front of you guys and then being in front of real people, that's something that AI can't replace. It can't replace how you deliver stuff. It can structure it, it can give you information, it can give you things like that, but it can't deliver it. AI can't be you. AI can't be me. It can tell us a lot of things. So I want to focus on that a little bit, but I don't want to put too much emphasis on it because I thought that the main point here was built for purpose. Because I think we all, well, I don't think, I know that we all have a purpose in life. It's just, are we utilizing what has been given to us to find that true purpose that we have? And so let me just start with this. And I think a lot of us, we wrestle with that right now, at this time right now. I think a lot of us wrestle with that because there's a lot of things, as I said, like my mom's um, is in the hospitals. Good thing, thank God, she get out Tuesday. She get released Tuesday, but it's a process. It's gonna be a process. And one thing that I'm learning, Sharon, is that sometimes when people go through stuff, you don't want to come to realization that you actually going through it. Or that, you know what I'm saying, this situation that happened, or that situation happened, or that life and change. Like my mom, she's 72. And so doing things on your own for 72 years is hard mentally when you have to depend on somebody else to do something for you. So sometimes you become to that point like you don't want to believe what exists. And so I think a lot of times we do that too in our lives, that we got issues. We got things that's standing right in front of us, but we want to tend to ignore it sometimes and just think that that thing gonna go away. A lot of people, they may drink their problems away, or think they drinking their problems away, or smoke their problems away, or beat up their spouse and thinking that that's gonna make the problem go away. But guess what? When you get done with all of that, that problem that you had is still gonna be there. And so you have to attack things head on and not go around the edges of it. You know what I'm saying? Like you make the house outside look good. You trim your bushes, you cut your yard, and you put the gravel out there, you got your landscaping looking good. But the house got full of clothes in there. You got a house of clothes coming from the kitchen to the living room. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. We got to get this whole thing together. So look good on the outside, but all messed up on the inside. So I want to say this. You can stay busy, but still avoid becoming. Because we live in a world where everything that we do now, everything we want to do it instantly. Like we can go to AI. Like I said, we can find information instantly. We can watch motivational speeches. That's instant. We can stroll through podcast episodes. And if you ever stroll through a podcast episode, stroll through the CJ Moneyway show and come holler at your boy. You know what I'm saying? And anybody that came on here today, Red's been on there. We had a good time. My man out there in Dallas, although he a Dallas Cowboy fan, we'll give him a pass for that. But if you want to come on the CJ Moneyway show, let's talk about it. Hey, but information alone doesn't transform lives. That's just information. It's all about how we apply it. So action transforms our lives. Character, which, we probably tend to think that character and integrity doesn't exist anymore, but it does. It still matters. It still matters how you show up to a place. It's still, no matter what's going on, we know what the government doing, $1.7 million slush fund. Come on, man, that's crazy. Taking away food stamps, taking away, all the educational pipelines that we had, things that we need to survive is taken away. But that's not what we were built for. It's wherever I think it says that wherever your treasures are, that's where your heart is. And so a lot of us are putting our treasures in places where our heart is, but it's in the wrong place. And I'm just telling you from experience. I don't have to talk about any of you, but if you can find yourself in these situations that I'm talking about, hey, just say, I hear you, CJ, because sometimes I learned, Stacey, that a lot of times things are not for you. It's for other people. And so that's why I'm writing a book right now, and it was interesting what Ron was talking about. So I'm really gonna get into that. It's called Planting Seeds with CJ, and the subtitle is Legacy. Discipline builds legacies, because without discipline, you're not building anything. So let me talk about that. I'm gonna get into that in a minute, but let me say this: the part that some of these things with AI, as I was saying, with being consistent, building character, building integrity, you can't automate that. AI can't. You can't use AI to automate yourself. AI can, like we said earlier, it can organize information. It can help you think, but again, it can't build your character. It can't make you disciplined. It can tell you what discipline what discipline may look like or what you may need to be doing, but it cannot input in you discipline. Like I got a 15-year-old that play basketball and he run track. And I see a lot of parents doing this a lot of times too, when you go to the games, and I may have been one of them, but I've fallen back some. I can't put in him what was in me. Like I may be been more aggressive than him, and so now I'm seeing how he playing, and so I want him to be aggressive like me. It's just not in him. He has to build his own character and his own who he is, not who I want him to be. And so a lot of times we want people to be who we want them to be and not who God has built them to be. Their purpose may not be my purpose. And so, but I have to be in position to understand what their purpose is so that I can help guide them. That's what builds legacies. But we are the front line of a legacy building cooperation. And so legacy ain't built outside. It ain't built with my friends hanging out on the corner or sitting in front of the house or in the car, in the Chevy back in the day. You know what I'm talking about, Reggie. In the Chevy back in the day, smoking a little weed. Maybe you didn't do that, but I did. You know what I'm saying? That ain't building legacy. That's keeping you confused. That's keeping you off guard. That's keeping you stuck. That's keeping you lost. And so as I go through this, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me because I'm very transparent with myself. Because if it wasn't for some of the things that I went through in life, I may not have been here today talking to you guys. Man, come on now. 30 years ago, CJ Money, CJ Corey, sitting up here talking to Sharon, Reggie, Stacy, Ashley, Michelle. Come on, man. No, that wasn't even a thought. Why? Not that seeds wasn't being planted. Even if I was walking in the wrong direction, and which I was, walking in the wrong direction in life, I was still planting seeds. I just wasn't paying attention to the seeds that I was planting because I was lost. And as I say, I was lost. And I know the Bible say that a confused man is he unstable. A confused man is an unstable man. A double-minded man is an unstable man and confused in everything that he do. And that was me. That's why, so I wish it was a lot of younger people on here because I wish I would have had known about discipline when I was 20 years old. Hey Reggie, I played ball when I was younger. I played ball. I played baseball, basketball, football, and was pretty decent with it. But what I realize now, I didn't have the discipline. I didn't give it my I didn't was able to reach my full potential playing ball because I was undisciplined. I was out there fighting. I was out there doing the things that I wasn't supposed to do. Out there taking up for friends who I thought was friends at that time and getting myself in bad situations. I didn't have a lot of issues myself, but because of the position that I put myself in, it led me to go astray. You know what I'm saying? Miss something that I had may wanted to do in life, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And so I'm gonna say this. Whether we realize it or not, our daily actions, our daily actions are building something. The way you think, the way you respond under pressure, the habits nobody sees, and the discipline nobody applauds. All of it is building our purpose and it's building our future. And so that's why discipline matters. Not because it sounds good, but because discipline builds structure. And structure is what keeps your life intact when storms come. As I don't know if you know by now, I like bringing the word because my thing is even on my podcast show and when I go on other people's podcast show, if you don't want to hear what CJ Moneyway talking about, then you may not need to tune in today because I don't think that you can talk about life without talking about the word. And I don't think you can talk about the word without talking about life because it all intertwines with each other. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the application. It say, believing, I don't even want to go there. I forgot it. But let me say this, though. Let me say this. It was two builders. They both built something. They built some houses. One built his house on the sand and one built his house on a rock. So, but when the storms came, only one survived. And I had seasons where I was building on the sand. Everything looked okay until pressure showed up. And then that house that was built on the sand, it came tumbling down. Because like I said, Reg, I knew discipline and I knew what it was, but I didn't apply it. And it's just recently that I found out what discipline really means. One definition means it said controlled behavior guided by values, purpose, and long-term vision rather than temporary emotion. And what I found out, Stacey, is this. I was building a lot of houses on temporary emotions. I was building a house here. I had a girlfriend here. I had a girlfriend there. I had something over here, something over there. But I wasn't never building nothing solid because I'm talking about, I want to be in alignment. I had kids. Now, when I'm talking about this, when I'm saying that I was with people, I just wasn't, just here for a minute. I was leaving evidence. I was leaving a legacy. I was leaving seeds, not just seeds, corn seeds. I was leaving real life seeds. But because I didn't have discipline within myself, because I didn't know my own direction, I let a lot of seeds go to the wayside. Because I'm trying to find who I'm trying to be, and I had no clue. And so all these houses that I was building, when pressure came, relationships started falling. Friendships started falling apart. Everything just going away because I didn't know how to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And so now I'm realizing and I'm learning in life that before you do anything, you have to align yourself. You are the most important person to yourself. And for a lot of women on here, Just let me know if you can relate to this. Like I have a mother, like I was, talking about my mother. And I realized that my mother, she prayed every as far as I can remember. She always prayed. As far as she always on her knees praying. But then I see what women go through. Put the kids to bed, wake them up in the morning, get them dressed for school, take them to school. They go to work themselves. They come home, they cook, they clean, they do all the things. They do all these things. But when do you have time for yourself? So I'm aligning myself with my husband, or with my wife, and I'm aligning myself with my kids. But somewhere in the midst of this, I'm not aligning myself with myself because everything that I'm doing is for everybody else, and I've never aligned myself or really figured out who I really am. And so if I don't figure out who I really am, who am I really aligning with, or who am I really leading? I can tell my son not to do this and not to do that, but if he see me do it, guess what? He's going to do it eventually because I can, saying we lead by example, not just by talking, especially if anybody got any teenage kids right now, we already know. You can tell a kid something and it can go in one ear and out the other, just like how it used to be with us. Like our mom and daddy, they older now, they out of touch, but now they do what they was talking about because they say that nothing new is under the sun. What's already been done, what's being done now has already been done. But because, especially me, nickel slick, thinking I know everything or whatever, our mama don't know what she talking about. My mother told me something a long time ago that would have saved me a lot of money, a lot of money. But I didn't think she knew what she was talking about. But now that I'm 52 years old and I sit back and think about what she told me 32 years ago, I said, mama had it all right. You know what I'm saying? She knew what she was talking about. I didn't. And so I had to go through that pitfall and I had to go through what I went through. And so I just want to share this real quick. The story of Joseph. If any of you familiar with the story of Joseph, it means a lot to me because people always talk about the palace, but they skip the pit. They skip the betrayal. They skip the prison. And so it was in these places that he learned some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us have we want the palace, but we don't want to go through the process. It's a process. See, Joseph had the dream, right? He had the dream. God showed him the dream when he was 17 years old. But what he didn't show him was all the things that was going to come in between. He didn't show him that his brother was going to hate on him. He didn't show him that his father wasn't going to believe him. But see, his father had an encounter with God himself. And so it say that he kept the matter in mind. He didn't know that he was going to get thrown into the well. He didn't know he was going to get sold into slavery. He didn't know that he was going to be in the potter's house and be over the potter's house and then be lied on in the same house and then be thrown into prison. And then he tells them their dreams and it came exactly how they said it. And he still left them there for 3 years. Still left them there for 3 years. See, but had he not went through the process, which a lot of us in life, if we don't go through the process and get straight to the point that God has showed us, it's going to destroy us because we ain't ready for it. It's some things that has to be built. Think about this, Reggie. When he was in the prison, it said that he interpreted their dreams. He said that isn't it God who interprets dreams? This is the first time he said God's name in the whole scripture. If you ever go back and read it, he say, well, except for when he talked to the wife, he say, but doesn't God interpret dreams? And here it is. He had a dream, but in the prison, in a place that he said he didn't want to be, in a place that he said he didn't deserve to be, which he shouldn't, which he really didn't, he had developed a skill. He had developed a talent that he didn't have before. He learned how to interpret dreams. And guess what that did? It got him out of prison and into Egypt, into second in command. A lot of times in life, we got to go through the process, regardless if we want to be there or not, because it's something in that place that's developing us for our next move into where we need to go. And if we don't have it, when we get there, we still gonna be stuck and starting from square one. And so that's what, being in alignment, not just with your kids, not just with your wife, but within yourself, within your own foundation. We building foundations foundations to stand solid, not to have foundations that's cracked, foundations that We can build up on it, but then when we build up on it, because we didn't build it solid from the beginning, it can come crumbling down. And so that's what I wanted to talk about, you know what I'm saying, in a nutshell, about discipline, alignment, and legacy. And just like I say on the CJ Moneyway show, hey, if y'all want to talk about something, anything that you guys would like to talk about or something that I said, let's get at it.
Hey, thank you for sharing that, CJ. That was good, man.
I
That was
appreciate
good.
it, Reggie. Appreciate it, man.
I really like, when you were talking about, the from the palace to the pit, and nobody wants to talk about the pit. And I think that, social media has us all thinking that everything is about the palace, right? It's all palatial and beautiful and perfect. And we get so caught up in that, and we spend all of this time and effort comparing to someone else, and I think we really miss a lot when we do that. So, you making that analogy was, very helpful.
Station, I hope I'm saying your name right. Maybe I should just call you Miss Crawford. Um, and with the social media, see, likes, everybody doing anything for a like, or to go viral, or you know what I'm saying, to be seen. And I believe that a lot of things that we're doing, especially on this platform, and the things that we're doing outside of here, everything is not all about likes, because likes only last temporary. Viral content only lasts for so long. Eventually they'll forget about it. But if you start building a legacy, if you start building things within yourself and for your family, that lasts generations. I was just talking to a guy the other day, Reggie. His great grandfather, he's 79, his great grandfather was building a legacy back in 1928. Man, I was appalled. I said, man, that's 100 years. You know what I'm saying? Now he's teaching his great grandkids, you know what I'm saying, the same things that's been taught down in their generation. And that's the things that we got to start doing. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that we're not, but we have to be more intentional on what we do, because I can't lead a legacy out here doing foolishness. I can't do it. I can't lead my son and teach him how to be a productive man in society if I'm out here wilding out. And if any of us know, and especially us men, you cannot have peace in the house if you don't bring none. You know what I'm saying? It's just not viable. If you want peace in your household, you better bring some. I can't bring chaos and then expect Sharon to just go with anything that I'm saying. Like, Sharon, you better listen to what I'm talking about, because I'm the man. I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. Negro, if you don't shut up, you ain't leading me nowhere, and you ain't talking about nothing. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't talking about nothing. And so I think a lot of times it's us. We have to get in alignment with ourselves, and then we can start leading better. That's something that I learned in life. Took me a long time, but you know what I'm saying? I'm glad that God pulled me out of whatever I was in. And so now I can sit here and enjoy you all's company today.
Yeah, I just want to say that your message definitely resonated with me because it pretty much not. I want to say it's not that I needed confirmation or anything like that, but because of the fact it just allows me to know that I'm going in the right direction. Because like myself, I am, like a therapist, and even though I want to say I've been putting myself out there, I just need to put myself out there more. But that's what I'm all about, like I created Self Care U Academy, especially primarily for females, because a lot of times, I mean, it's in life, period. It's not a male or female thing, but it's just that my organization is primarily. But a lot of times we leave ourselves behind. And one of the things that I saw, one is with my live experience, but then also being a therapist, what I've seen, it's like, wow, we're not teaching people like, how to be well, And so what are the things that I can do to help remind people of that? But even within for myself, like you were talking about your mom, and I do hope and pray that she has a full recovery. But I can even remember when my mom and my stepdad, when they both had, medical conditions and so many different things. And of course, we're going to do what we need to do. But at the same time, if we're working and we're doing, it's all of that output. And I'm just a given person, but I realized like, oh, wait a minute, I've left myself behind. And so we have to intentionally, intentionally align ourselves with ourselves, because if not, we will leave ourselves behind. And then the last thing that I would say too, kind of with that, even like for those of us who may have come from a broken home or absent parent or whatever it may be, even though, like for me, it's like, hey, I never have no ill feelings about my dad. And then, as I grew up, and I'm like, you know what? It was really best that that he wasn't a part of my life anyway. But what I learned at different stages in my life is that your soul needs completion. And so it's up for us to be able to do that despite of what we didn't get from our parents. So that's another reason to be in alignment, is for us as individuals to, pour into ourselves. So I do want to say, it's just really nice in a breath of fresh air to hear someone else, who's doing great work out there. And, what you just said just really aligned with me. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate it. Thank you for the prayers for my mother as well. With that, like you say, being in alignment and thinking of yourself, because I know for a fact, Miss Crawford, I know for a fact that if I wasn't where I was at now, if I wasn't in the space, if something like that had came up, some years ago or whatnot, I wouldn't have been on this call today. I would have used that as my crutch. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, oh, I'm going through this or I'm going through that, and my mom's going through this. I ain't got time for that. But it would have been my defense mechanism to run away. We was in a session with Renee, I believe, and she had some PowerPoints up there, and she had 3 questions. One of them was hesitation, and it was 2 others. And I think a lot of us picked hesitation, to be hesitant, which was number 2. And so you be hesitant to do things, but the hesitation, so if anything come about, if some storms, as I was saying earlier, come about and that pressure hits, oh, it's gonna knock that down. And so that's just my defense mechanism. That's my crutch to just run away from something. But I'm glad that I'm in a position there now, because now I believe more. And we go through certain things, Sharon, we go through certain things in life, and we all human, and we get to the point like, Lord, well, you said that you was going to, do this, and you said that you would never leave me nor forsake me, but I feel a little forsaken right now. I feel like, you and passed away. But then it was a few years ago, I heard this we was in Sunday school, and he brought this scripture up, and I never really heard it like that before, but I use it all the time now. And he say, Lord, I believe, but help me in my unbelief. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some things like, Lord, no, I don't. Hey, it's the 11th hour, the rent due in 30 minutes. Everybody finna get kicked out and this and that. But one thing I've learned in that too, Sharon, is he knows our heart, right? And so, Ms. Crawford, if he when he come through, when he provide for me, I don't even have the gratitude to say thank you. I don't even say thank you. Knowing that he didn't pull me out of that's why I talk so freely and the way that I am, because I know what he pulled me through. I know what he brought me from. You know what I'm saying? So it say that if you be ashamed of me, he said, if you be ashamed of me in front of people, then I'll be ashamed of you in front of the Father. I don't want that to happen to me. And so they say, well, CJ, we like coming on your show, man, because you'll get into these. Yeah, man, because that's my life. The government, that's not my source. They can't choose my direction in life. They can take some things away, but they can't choose where I'm going to spend eternity at. You know what I'm saying? That is predicated on you. And so that's where the alignment come in. That's the alignment I'm talking about. That's on you. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody take that away from you or where you're trying to go, where you want to live your eternal life at. And I want to live mine with the Lord. So if that's what you want to do, then we need to do some soul searching. And a lot of times when we see that man in the mirror, like Michael Jackson was talking about back in the day, when we look at that man in the mirror, I don't want to see him. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to turn away from him because I don't like what I see. And so it says something, Reginald. It say something that you like the man that look in the mirror, then when he turn away, he forget how he look. I don't want to forget how I look. You know what I'm saying? I want to be me. So that's why I say I ain't got no slides. I ain't got no PowerPoint. I just came with me. And I'm glad that you all stayed and attended today. I really had fun with you guys.
Hey, it was great, CJ. Didn't need slides, man. Didn't need slides. You gotta do you.
I'm sorry I cut it short. I might have missed some stuff, you know. And any of us know, I don't care how many times you spoke or who you've spoken from. You get nervous, you get some butterflies, you try to read your notes. I had skipped this part, I had skipped that part. Oops, I don't know how to get back there. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna sound right. So you just gotta go with the flow.
It flowed, brother. So I have no idea what you missed. So what you came with, you came with. So it was good.
I appreciate it, man. I really do. Thank you.
You bet, man.
All right. Thank you, Al. I really appreciate you all.